Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the second video in the JavaScript playlist. So in this video, we want to start writing JavaScript, and I'm going to start with showing you how you can set up your development environment, which is really simple. And we're going to start looking at the JavaScript syntax from the very scratch. Okay, so um, in the last video, we took time to understand what JavaScript is in terms of theory, and we saw that JavaScript is basically a programming language, and it is the native programming language for building web applications. I said native because JavaScript was originally designed to run in the browser, and we know web applications are those that run in the browser. Okay, so we can immediately see how important JavaScript is when it comes to building web application. I mean, it's impossible. It's not possible to build a web app without JavaScript, especially on the front end. Okay, so yeah, it's a great choice. Um, it's you can't go wrong learning JavaScript today just because it is very important, especially when it comes to web applications. Um, yeah, so let's get started. So I have a folder here named JS, and I have two files. I have index.html and I have index.js. So for now, we're going to focus on this index.html. We're going to come to this index.js shortly. So what I'm going to do is to create um, an HTML boilerplate. So I'm going to just type exclamation mark, and then I'm going to hit tab. Okay, so it gives me this boilerplate. So I'm going to change the title to say learn JS. Okay, and now to start writing JavaScript and using JavaScript on this document, it is as easy as adding an HTML tag. Remember, we said where JavaScript is basically used to add interactivity to web pages. It's used to create really dynamic and interactive web pages. So it makes sense that we are adding JavaScript to this HTML document, which basically represents a web page, right? So that's how we use, excuse me, that's how we use JavaScript in the browser. Basically, we inject JavaScript code within an HTML file, and we are able to write programs, JavaScript programs, to control the content and the behavior of the different elements in that HTML um, document or HTML file or web page. So all of these can be used interchangeably. Okay, so to start writing JavaScript for this HTML page, all we need to do is to add a script tag. Excuse me. So say script, and then between the opening and closing script tag, we can write any JavaScript code we want to write. So usually we start by outputting something in a console. So I use console.log, which is the statement we use to do just that, to log stuff in the console. Okay, so say hello world. Okay, now just let me put something in the body, and then I'll say, you know what, let's just say let's learn JS, and then I save. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this. I'll say open with live server, and I'm gonna bring this guy to its own tab, just like that, and then yeah. Okay, so yep, so we can see now to access the console, what you can do is to right click anywhere, and then click inspect, and then you see hello world inside the console, and you can see it's on line 13, index.html line 13. Okay, so yeah, so that is how you write JavaScript. I mean, you can also do other things. You can say console.log, you can put a number, you can say 2 plus 2, and it gives you 4. So yeah, you can write any JavaScript you want to write between these two tags. But the thing is, imagine you have other contents in this HTML file. Let's say you have a full web page. Usually you have the headers, and then you have other content, and then in addition to the script, which can be a lot, your JavaScript code can be a lot. So you can imagine how easy it is for this file to quickly get messy. Not to mention that you could have more than one page, one HTML file where you want the script you're writing here to apply. And what it means is you need to copy the script and add it to those files for it to work. So for these reasons, we usually separate JavaScript from HTML. So the HTML file is just on its own, and we write our JavaScript somewhere. So that's why we have index.js. So all we need to do is just to find a way to bring this over. So we say source, and then we say put the name of the JavaScript file. So in this case it's index.js, and then excuse me, and then we go ahead to write our JavaScript code inside here. So for now, I'm going to just put that here. Don't worry about these guys. I'm going to explain what they are doing. Just ignore them for now. Focus on this. So I'm going to save it, and I check again. Everything still works as it should. Okay, so just to show you a little bit of what JavaScript can do, we can use JavaScript to apply style to our HTML elements. We can even use JavaScript to dynamically inject content in our page. So let's say, for instance, we could say so we could say document dot get element by ID. Don't worry if this does not make any sense, but I just want to quickly show you what we can use JavaScript for. So I'm going to have an element that has an ID of h1 inside my HTML, and that's going to be this. So I'll say h1, actually I'll say ID, and then I give it h1 as value, and then I save. So now this will refer to this again. Don't worry if it doesn't make sense. I'm gonna just say dot style, and the style I want to apply is background color, this one, and then I'm gonna say red, and I save it, and yep, the element gets a background color of red. Okay, that element with an ID of h1, it gets a background color of red. That's what this line is doing. I can even change what the text says. So I'm going to say that's text content. So I can literally change this thing that says let's learn JS. I can change it to learn JavaScript, and I save it. It says learn JavaScript. Cool. And I mean, you can imagine that we can easily add other CSS properties. We can say color, for instance, and then we can change the color to, let's say, white, and we save it, and the color is white. So this gives you an idea of how powerful JavaScript is when it comes to actually controlling what is on a web page, right? Right, so let's start, looking at some of the things we're going to cover, and this is it. Now, remember I told you to ignore this earlier. So this is how you write comments in JavaScript. Comments, generally, most programming languages have their own way of implementing comments, and so comment usually defines the part of your code that you don't want to execute. So this is, you use that to maybe write notes to yourself or write notes to other people you're collaborating with on the program you're writing. So in this case, I've just used it to make an outline of what we're going to cover. So we're going to start off looking at what a variable is. I'm going to look at variables. We're going to look at data types. We're going to look at operators. We're going to look at control structures. That's conditional statement, basically. Actually, this should be conditional statements, and then we'll go to loops and functions. Okay, so I think we should end this video here so that we can start all of this in another video.